Rampage Jackson has a son who is a young, up and coming MMA fighter. Gets invited to this wrestling event. Behind the scenes of this wrestling event, a wrestler smashes a can, some kind of beverage, up against his head. He takes umbrage. He feels disrespected. These are a bunch of wrestlers. Maybe this is a way that they horseplay, or um, there's also footage of him behind the scenes, kind of talking it out with the guy who smashed the beer can or whatever beverage up against his head. They appear to talk it out, smooth everything out, and then what was said was, "Hey, during the match, you'll be able to get your revenge or your lick back." So then I go see the footage of the actual event. He runs up on stage, he slams a man. The man is clearly unconscious from the slam, the way that the slam was done, and he's violently assaulting the man. And a bunch of guys they break it up, and the guy's clearly like in a coma, or I don't know, he's unconscious or whatever. He beat him to a pulp. So yeah, he's kind of walking down the street, going on this rampage, I guess, exiting the building, trying to fight the other wrestlers, because the other wrestlers are, hey, look, man, what you did was wrong. And I guess Raja is trying to leave the scene. But all of this leads me to believe, like, man, it goes back to the video conflict resolution. Now, this guy is a child of a famous MMA fighter, Rampage Jackson, but he chose to go about it the wrong way. And I kind of see this with the black community. First thing we want to do, we kind of want to turn this into some kind of on code thing or racial issue. Like, I'm just looking at it from based on the things that I saw. Now I may be wrong, but that's uncalled for. The Raja kid more than likely is going to face some form of, he's going to go to jail. Let's just be honest. He's going to go to jail. And based on the footage and everything that they have, he might be cooked. He might be cooked because he snapped. He lost his mind. And you see a lot of black people kind of like, no, man, what did he do? That was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing that made me flip out or made me trip was they spoke it. They behind the scenes they had talked it out. They already hashed this thing out. And this was something where you kind of blindside a person and you snap and you take out some stuff where you guys previously already hashed this thing out. The father came out, gave a statement, but man, as a man, bro, this is not the way that you handle conflict, man. Especially if you've already sat down, kind of talked it out with the person. Now, he appears to be a very young man. You know what I mean? Early 20s, maybe early to mid 20s. I might be wrong, but his son is now facing some legal issues, some legal problems. And there's no, I guess the guy went to the hospital, and Rampage, like I said, he put out a statement, and he understood what, basically his son being banned from kick. But yeah, this is just an all around unfortunate situation. But this is not the way that you handle conflict. You have an issue with somebody smashing a can up against your head, you handle it right there on the spot, man. You don't wait after you kind of patch things up with the person or talk things over with the person and then blindside them and kind of go on some kind of rage fit, man. Everything's on. You don't have to believe what I say. This is stuff you can dig up on the internet. You can see the footage. Everything was recorded. And this is bad, man. So you got an issue with somebody, especially if they do something to you, you handle it either right there on the spot, you get in a fight right then and there, but you don't blindside a person after you talk everything out and y'all kind of had like a hashing out, and that's wrong, man. But we'll see what happens.